Thank you for joining me this evening, or if you're watching the recording, whenever you're joining me. Anytime is a good time for restorative yoga. So we have a restorative practice tonight, and I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm very passionate about restorative yoga, one of the newer types of yoga, but definitely based in some ancient teachings. A little bit about restorative yoga before we start. So this is a stress relief practice. So our goal here is no effort whatsoever. We want to find the shapes that we're going to find this evening with the use of props to completely support us so that we can relax and just melt and let go. So we're not using our muscles, we're not trying to tense anything, we're not building strength. We will get, as a benefit, just a very nice opening of the joints often, but it's going to be a supported opening. So know that if you work into any of these shapes and something isn't working for you, I want you to be sure that you modify, add a little bit more padding or whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. So what we're looking for in our restorative classes is the relaxation response. And what that's doing is it's wanting to take our nervous system from the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. We want to take that into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So in ancient times, we were made to react to situations. So say we were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Our adrenaline starts pumping and we're in that fight or flight. And then we come back out of it and we can rest and digest. What's happening in today's modern world is we have a lot of stress. And unfortunately, that stress, even though it's not a saber-toothed tiger, our system sees it the same. So a lot of times we spend too much time in that sympathetic nervous system. So we're constantly stressed, we're constantly on edge. So this practice will help us to find that parasympathetic nervous system where we can actually just release and relax. So I always tell people, if you fall asleep or kind of find that in-between state in these shapes, you get extra credit. So it's absolutely okay to do so. Definitely want to practice in comfortable clothes. Having a lightweight blanket near you is always nice. Sometimes the body temperature will go down, or a pair of socks can be nice too, especially for your final shavasana at the end. So I have a lot of props this evening, and you can have things at home that can work for you just as well. So I've got a blanket, I've got a couple of bolsters because I have the skinny ones, a couple of blocks, and then I also have a strap. Pillows can work, couch cushions, anything like that. Books to put underneath the knees as blocks, a scarf if you don't have a strap, and you will have options to not have any props at all if you don't have any. So we'll work a little bit into these shapes, and one of the important things to know is that we're going to be holding each of these shapes for between 10 and 12 minutes. So that's quite a bit of time. So I set a timer so I know if we've got a two-sided posture, it splits that time. But that's about the time that it takes for us to actually start to let go. It's important that the music that you're playing is really soothing. We don't want the mind to be stimulated. It also means that I will be giving you quite a bit of space with silence. So I will do some just readings at the beginning of the shapes. I'll do a little bit of talking about the shapes and the benefits of them. But other than that, I will kind of leave you alone to relax and just release into the shape and let the benefits just come into your body and you can enjoy. So I did write this class based on the chakras and thinking about balancing the chakras. So I've talked a little bit about these in other classes, just those spinning wheels of light along our spine. Whether you buy into them or not doesn't really matter, but we are going to work on balancing them this evening. So to start out, I would like to do just a little bit of gentle neck stretching. I find that for me, when I get really stressed, I have trouble with my neck. It gets stiff, it gets sore. So we are going to start with just a little couple of gentle stretches before we work into our first restorative shape. So I'll stay facing you for this one. If you have a very thin blanket, you can put it across your mat. And we're actually going to lie down onto our bellies. So if you haven't started the playlist, you can go ahead and start the playlist now. I'll start mine. So we'll lie down so that your stomach or belly button is kind of in the middle of this blanket. And again, if you don't have a blanket, it's not a big deal. Stack the palms. Make sure the right hand is stacked on top of the left. And then just gently let your right temple come down onto the stacked palms. So you're looking to your left, and we're taking a gentle neck stretch to begin. The heels can fall apart from one another. That allows space for the sacrum, and the legs can be as far apart as is comfortable for you. So just take a moment here. So this shape in itself is very grounding and kind of helps us to just feel centered and can help you turn inward. Just take a couple breaths here. Beautiful. And from here, we'll have an option to take a little bit of a hip opener. If you don't want the hip opener, you don't have to take it. Otherwise, we'll find half frog. So you can bring that left knee up towards your body. Maybe it lands on the blanket for a little bit of support. Or the legs can stay out straight. And then from here, make a fist with your right hand. Place it on top of the left. And we're going to use those knuckles into the side of the jaw. So we tend to hold a lot of tension in the jaw. A lot of times we grit our teeth. Some of us grind our teeth when we're sleeping. So kind of just use your knuckles here to massage into the side of the jaw here on the right side for a moment. You control the pressure here, so just do what feels good. Again, we're not wanting to cause any pain or discomfort. Beautiful. And then you can slowly let that left leg come back out long. We're going to come into Sphinx pose just for a moment. So bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, or you can walk the arms a little bit farther out in front of you. And then just barely tuck the chin into the chest to stretch out the back of the neck for a moment. Beautiful. And gently let your chin come back parallel to the earth. We're going to now let the elbows walk forward. Take the palms and hold them to frame your face. So just a gentle opening for the front of the neck. If this doesn't work in your body, feel free to skip it. Beautiful, yogis. Gently release that, let the elbows come out. And again, we'll find our crocodile pose. So this time the left palm is on top of the right, so right hand on the bottom. Gently look to your right and let the temple rest down. So again, a stretch for the neck. If it bothers the neck, you can keep the forehead down onto the stacked palms instead. And then we have that option here for a little bit of gentle hip opening. So you can draw that right knee any amount up towards your body for half frog. So that right knee, maybe a 90-degree angle out from the hip, maybe not. And then again, we have the option to take the fist or a fist with the top hand and then let the knuckles massage the sides of the jaw. Working your way around the sides of the jaw. You can even work on the temple a little bit and around the ear if that feels good. I know for myself, I a lot of times have a lot of tension built up here and I don't even realize it. This is one way to find out, oh yes, I have some tension here. Beautiful yogis. You can go ahead and straighten your legs out. We'll come back into Sphinx again for a moment. Let the elbows come underneath the shoulders. And then again, let the chin drop into the chest, stretch out the back of the neck. If it feels good, you can bring one ear to one shoulder, tilt to the side. Come back to center and then tilt it the other way. Gently come back to center, let the chin come parallel to the floor, and then we have one more variation here. Again, we let the elbows come out. This time we have fists with the hands, and we take it to the side of the jaw. So perhaps the TMJ joint right underneath the ear, kind of where the jaw meets, a little massage here. Both directions. Beautiful yogis, once you've had enough of that, you can release. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to gently press up and press ourselves into a child's pose for a moment. Now, if you'd like, you can bring your knees onto that blanket. Knees could be together or farther apart. We won't be here long. We're just going to use it as a little reset before we move into our next shape. Beautiful. Letting your hands walk in towards your body. Sit over to one side. Then you can kick your feet out in front of you for a moment. We'll talk about our first true restorative shape. This one is for the root chakra. It's also going to work on our sacral chakra, so our first and our second. Red and orange are our two colors here. Eventually, I'll talk a little bit about the root and the sacral chakra, but for now, just know that that's what we're working on first. And we have reclined bound angle pose. So this could be where a strap could be useful. If you don't have a strap, you actually don't have to have one. If you do have a strap, and it's like mine, you want to make sure that we've made the strap so that it can't change. So the two metal pieces come together, loop the strap through, separate the two metal pieces, and then loop it back through. And know if you have a scarf, you'll be able to just kind of tie it in knots. That's actually going to work too. So let's get our strap on first. So bring it around the body. So you loop it around the body kind of like a hula hoop and put it down low on the hips for now. We can just leave it here for now. You can see that I already have my legs in a diamond shape because this is where we're going with this. I'm going to actually turn to the side. So we have some options here. The first thing that we want to do is, even if your hips are super open here and your knees almost reach the floor, I still want you to have some support for the knees. So whether you need to bring small pillows under the knees, but I don't want them to be in space. So whatever you need, and the closer the blocks are into your body, the more support you'll get. The farther apart out, the less support, but have some sort of support here. Now from here, if you wanted a little bit of back bending, which I'd like some, or a little bit of heart opening, I'm going to bring a bolster or a couple of pillows right to my sacrum. So it's going to come out behind me. I'm going to lay down on it. I'm not going to go down there quite yet. If I've done that, I might need a little bit of pillow. So I can take the blanket, perhaps to the end of the bolster, and that'll serve as a pillow. Know that you can also do this without any spine opening at all or chest opening. You can just do it without the bolster or pillows, or you can just have a pillow behind the back of your head. All right, let's go back to that strap. So if you have that strap and it's long enough, you're going to actually take it, so it's in between my legs. I'm going to loop it around the bottom of my feet. I'm going to turn forward just to show you this really quick. So I have the strap in the center and the inner thigh, coming down and then around the feet. Now once I do that, I'm going to move the strap so the metal piece isn't anywhere on my body because that would get annoying. And I'm going to tighten it a little bit, and what that's going to do is going to give me a little bit of support. So that strap is right down on the lowest part of my back, over my feet, tightened up, so it's supportive. Getting myself all rigged up here. And then once you get yourself prepared, come down onto your elbows. And you can lie down onto your back. Now, once you get here, if you want to take the tail of the strap and you need a little bit more support, you can tighten that strap a little bit here. Arms can be down by the side. You have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. You can even find cactus arms here if you would like. A little bit of chest opening. So work into your shape and then start to relax. Just let the props do the work for you. Again, we're going to be here for around 10 minutes. Nothing to do, nowhere to be right now. Just taking the time to release and relax. So reclined bound angle pose is a restorative back bend and a hip opener. Improves circulation to the pelvis, calms the mind. Again, we're balancing our root chakra and our sacral chakra. Imagine a beautiful red color at the base of the spine, perhaps a beautiful orange light circling around the pelvis below the belly button. A reading for you before I send you off. This one's called Trust the Timing of Your Lessons. Too often our first inclination when we learn a lesson, gain a new insight, have an awareness, or glimpse a new truth is to judge and criticize ourselves for not seeing it sooner, not knowing it before, or being in denial too long. That's not necessary. It's not appropriate. We're not at fault because we didn't have this awareness or understand this lesson until now. We don't need to see the truth one moment before we see it. Judging ourselves for not knowing sooner can close us off to what life has to teach us now. We're here to learn our lessons, discover our truths, have our adventures. Let yourself have your experiences. Allow yourself to learn what you learn when you learn it. Don't judge yourself for not learning sooner. Be happy, grateful, and excited when your lesson arrives. Trust your voice, that quiet inner voice, when it speaks to you of truth. Be grateful you can hear it. Do what it tells you to do. Trust the timing of your heart. Yogis, start to bring an awareness back to the body. The awareness comes back, perhaps wiggling the fingers and the toes. Take our time to get out of these shapes, allowing things to settle. So take your hands just to the outsides of the knees and gently close them just enough so that you can slide the feet out of the strap, one at a time. And then just let the legs come out long for a moment. Find kind of a little modified Shavasana here. Just allowing everything to settle. Begin to bend into the knees, plant the soles of the feet on the earth, and then slowly roll over to one side. Hug your knees up in towards your chest. Use your bicep as a pillow for a moment. And then gently use your hands and elbows to start to press yourself up. You can remove the strap off of your body and set it to the side. Let's lengthen our legs out long for a moment and just kind of shake them gently out. So next, we move up to the third chakra, or solar plexus, also known as Manipura. And the way to balance this chakra is gentle twists. So we're going to find one of my favorite shapes, and that is mermaid twist. So I'm going to stay turned to the side for a moment, although I'll probably demo you from the front as well. But we're going to find mermaid legs. And in order to do that, you're just going to bring the knees together. Or not really together, but they're kind of separated a little bit. So you're letting that inside of your right shin be to the instep of your left foot. And the feet can just kind of like fit each other here. I'm kind of moving my pants up so that maybe you can see the black pants were maybe not the best idea. So this is mermaid legs. So sometimes we find stag legs, which is a little bit more, but mermaid legs are a little bit more relaxing. If it bothers you to have the knees bent, know that you're also going to have the option to straighten the legs out, but that's going to take the twist a little bit deeper. So I'll let you kind of decide what works for you. Find your bolster or pillows, bring it to your left hip. And again, how big you make this bolster is up to you. If you want to place a blanket on top of the bolster, that could work, or use multiple bolsters. From here, just frame your hands around the bolster and slowly begin to lower yourself down. So we're going to keep our gaze looking towards our knees. We want to support the neck here. So you can move the face around a little bit on the bolster or pad the face a little bit more if you need. Arms are just down by the sides. If you find something that's a little bit more comfortable, that's absolutely fine. Again, you have the option to straighten the legs out if you would like. So mermaid twist nourishes the spine, bringing circulation to the discs. Also balances the yin and yang energy in our bodies, or yin and yang. And it aids in digestion and elimination. So that solar plexus chakra, yellow in color, perhaps visualizing that beautiful yellow sun right in the center of your belly. Relaxing down into it. This reading will be from the Radiant Sutras. Enter these turning points where the rhythms of life transform into each other. Breath flows in, filling, filling. In this moment, drink eternity. Breath flows out, emptying, emptying. offering itself to infinity. Cherishing these moments, mind dissolves into heart, heart dissolves into space, body becomes a vibrating field, pulsating between fullness and emptiness. Beginning to bring awareness back into the body, perhaps deepening the breath for a couple breaths here. And then gently bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Begin to press yourself up. Take your time here. Walk the hands behind us and stretch the legs out for a moment. Again, you can just kind of gently shake them out or even massage the knees a little bit. We'll work into the second side of Mermaid Twist. So bringing your props over to the other side, or you could simply turn away from the camera screen if you'd like. So this time you want to find the knees to the right. So the inside of that left shin kind of connects with the instep of the right foot, if that feels comfortable for you. You can also find stag legs if you would prefer, or straighten the legs out. Bring that bolster right up close to your hip. You want it in there comfy. It'll help for the little bit of support. And then walking the hands around to either side. We're never in a hurry in our restorative class. Slowly lowering yourself down onto your bolster or pillows. And again, the gaze is towards the knees. We don't want to twerk the neck. As you settle in, another reading from the Radiant Sutras. At the end of the exhale, breath surrenders to quietude. For a moment, you hang in the balance, suspended in the fertile spaciousness that is the source of breath. At the end of the inhale, filled with the song of the breath, there is a moment when you are simply holding the tender mystery. In these interludes, experience opens into exquisite vastness, with no beginning and no end. Embrace this infinity without reservation. You are its vessel. Again, begin to bring the awareness back into the body. Maybe deepen the breath for the next 2 breaths here. And then as you feel ready, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders and gently beginning to press yourself up. Again, taking care, not in a hurry. Bring the hands behind the body. And again, let's lengthen the legs out for a moment. You can stretch out the legs, a little self-massage here. You can always take those nice windshield wipes back and forth if that releases the lower back. So moving on next, we're working into our 4th chakra, which is our heart chakra. So right in the center of our chest. You can think of either a green color or sometimes seen as a beautiful pink color. So our shape that I chose tonight to work on the heart chakra is a very large heart opener, and it is restorative supported fish. So there's a lot of different variations of this one. I always say that this one can be a little bit challenging at first, but eventually you'll come to crave this posture. It really reverses the fact that we tend to, especially when we're stressed or nervous, we tend to be here, holding ourselves in protection, kind of rounding the spine. This is going to help to open everything up. So lots of different variations here. I'm going to go over a couple. If you have your own variation of supported fish and you know where you're going, feel free to go ahead and go for that. Otherwise, I'll go from the most opening down to the least. So taking your bolster to the top of your mat, kind of as if it would be a pillow. So setting it that way. And then I'm going to take a blanket here and I'm going to roll it up. I could also use a pillow and I'm going to bring it on top of that pillow. So we've got a lot of padding here. And the reason for that is because I don't want your chin to be jutted up. I want your chin to be in neutral or gently tucked into the chest. Now from here, we have a couple of options. You can find a block, or if you have another bolster, or if you just want to use the bolster, kind of like we did at the beginning for the first shape, you can use a bolster underneath the back. I'm going to show you the variations with the block. So for the most opening, we're going to find that medium setting. And the medium setting is that long, narrow way. And we're going to set it right behind the heart chakra, so right behind the center of the chest. So you can think right in between the shoulder blades. The bottom of the block should line up with the bottom of the blades of the shoulders. So sometimes it takes a moment to kind of adjust yourself around here. So I'll show you this first variation and I'll show you other variations if you need. So you can hold on behind the back of the thighs, come down onto the elbows, and then see if this is going to suit you. And I'm going to adjust a little bit here because again, I want my chin down a little bit here. So again, this is creating the most heart opening. So we don't want that block way up in between the blades, like at the back of the neck. No, you want it down a little bit farther. Again, kind of the bottom of the rib cage is a really good indicator of where it should be too. So that's number one. If we find out that, ooh, that's way too much, then turn the block down so it's on the lowest setting, or you could even have 2 blocks next to one another. If you do that, you might need a little less padding for the back of the head. So work yourself down here. And eventually, once you get there, you will have the option to lengthen the legs out long here. Arms can be down by the side. You can find cactus arms. Again, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Whatever feels good and supportive for you. And that final variation would be bringing a bolster underneath the back, again, with probably a small pillow at the top. So find your variation of supported fish. We're going to find 12 minutes of rest here. A little bit of a longer one, but again, so many benefits to this posture. So we're opening our shoulders, we're opening our chest, we're opening our hearts. Also restorative back bend. Again, a reading from the Radiant Sutras as you release into supported fish. Follow the path of the life force as she flashes upward like lightning through your body. Attend simultaneously to that red, bright place at the base of your spine, to the crown of the skull, and to the shining star place above the head. Notice this living current, becoming ever more subtle as she rises, radiant as the morning sun, until she streams outward from the top of the head into all-embracing gratitude. Thus become intimate with the life of all beings. Trace the river of life that flows through you, the luxurious rising energies, gradually touching each of the centers along the spine. Savor every shimmer of color along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go, finally, gently dissolving in the crown of the head. Then above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. Yogis, begin to bring an awareness back into the body, perhaps deepening the breath for a couple of breaths. Starting to bring small movements back into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. We'll take our time to slowly work out of this shape. First, I would like you to bend into the knees and plant the soles of the feet onto the earth for support. Using the support of the elbow on either side, you're going to roll gently off of the props. Again, take your time. Finding your fetal position for a moment here, letting the spine reset. Take a little bit of time to pause in between our shapes, just to allow the shape to wash over us, allow the benefits to sink in. As you feel ready on your own time, mindfully press yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll be up long enough just to discuss the next shape and to perhaps find our straps. So again, you could use a scarf instead of a strap or anything long like a tie that you could tie. If you don't have a strap, we'll have an option for you as well. So moving up to balance our fifth chakra, our throat chakra. So color here is light blue. And the shape that we're going to be finding is called upside down bound lunge. So for this one, we just need a strap, like I said, or no strap is fine too. But if you do have a strap, again, you want to set it so that it doesn't move. And then bring it around the body. So loop it around the body. This time, we want it up high. So you want it up high into the armpits. So kind of as high as it can go. Before it was kind of low as it could go, now it's high as it could go. So I'm going to turn to the side, and you will too. We're going to start with the right knee, but we're going to have both knees bent to begin. We're going to start by just lowering ourselves down onto the back. Now, a special note here, if you've had any kind of knee surgery and compression in your knee bothers you, know that I'll have an option for you to loop the strap around the back of your leg. Or you can also bring padding here around the back of the knee. So you could bring even a sweatshirt or a towel in between the calf and the thigh here to create a little bit of space so you don't have so much knee compression. But if your knees are okay, you could at least try it. Bring the strap around the right knee. So you're hugging that right knee a little bit more into the chest. And again, I want you to adjust yourself here so the metal part of the strap is not on your body, because eventually that will get annoying. We can tighten the strap as much as feels good in the body. Try to keep the strap up high onto the armpits. So we're hugging the knee into the chest, but we're not having to do it ourselves. We're having the strap help us. Now again, if this is too much compression and even the padding behind doesn't work, then bring the strap behind the back of the leg. So you would loop your entire leg through and have the strap behind the back. If you don't have a strap, you can take your left arm and bring it around the back of your left or right knee. And the palm should be facing up, or you could face it down, but you don't want to pull. So it's opposite arm here. And then if it's available to you, you're going to stretch your left leg out long. Now, if you have the strap, you can tighten it as much as you need, and know that you can always use the tail end of the strap to tighten it more. Here, I like to find either cactus arms, or I like to find a diamond shape over the top of my head with my arms, as long as it's comfortable in my shoulders. But know the arms could also be down by the sides. Upside down, bound lunge. So this one relieves tension in the back and the hips. It stretches the psoas and the hip on the straight leg. And again, balancing the throat chakra. Sitting here, letting the props do the work for you. And again, if you're feeling any kind of sharp or shooting pain, I definitely want you to back out of this. This should feel supportive. Next reading comes from Journey to the Heart. This is called Sometimes the Road Gets Rough. Don't be dismayed when you come to a pothole, a detour, a stretch of rough and rocky road. Don't be surprised. Slow down a little. Be patient. It's not the whole journey. It's not the way it'll always be. But it is part of your journey too. Part of your journey to your heart and soul. Even when we're living with joy and freedom, we continue to learn, grow, feel, experience. And the road can still get rough. Happiness doesn't mean feeling gleeful all the time. Happiness doesn't mean the road we're traveling is always smooth. Happiness means feeling all we need to feel and accepting each part of the journey, even the changes of course and direction. Feel all your feelings, feel your fear and frustration about slowing down. Then settle in for the ride. You may not be going as fast as you'd like, but the journey hasn't stopped. You're not doing anything wrong. You're going slower, but you're still moving forward. Yogis, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale and release. Slowly begin to bend into the left knee. Plant the left sole of the foot onto the earth first for support. And then use your hands to slip the strap off of the knee, the right knee, and let the right foot come down to meet the left. Now from here, if you'd like, you might want to stretch that right leg out for a moment if you're feeling that compression in the hip. Just kind of letting the blood flow come back in. And then eventually we'll just switch to the second side of upside down bound lunge. Now know that you might have to adjust the strap differently for the second side, depending on your the way your joints articulate. They can be different on the second side. So eventually, both feet plant on the earth first, and then hug the left knee in towards the chest. Now, if you need to readjust the strap, I usually do. So I bring it up high onto my armpits again. You can loosen it a little bit to begin. And then I slip the strap over my left knee. And again, that's too much. Padding behind, or no strap, or strap behind the back of the thigh instead, all options. Also of note, it doesn't matter if the knee is directly over the chest or a little out to the side. It'll depend how your hip articulates. Again, I want you to be comfortable here. So feeling a little bit of compression is okay, but do what makes you comfortable. So it should feel more supportive than anything else, not so constrictive. Know that you can always keep the right foot planted if you would prefer. Or if you want to stretch the psoas in the front of the hip, lengthen the right leg out. And again, we have the option here for the arms. You can find cactus arms, maybe this time the diamond shape over the top of the head. Settling in, second side, upside down, bound lunge. Another reading from Journey to the Heart. Discover the power of vulnerability. A new kind of power will emerge from vulnerability. The more honest we are with ourselves about how we feel and what we really think, the more power we have. We may have once thought that being powerful meant not giving in to what we felt, what we thought, or who we really were. But that attitude didn't garner power for us. It caused life, the universe, us to continue creating situations that would help open our hearts, help us to feel, help us learn the lesson of vulnerability. The sooner we become honest with ourselves, the sooner we can be honest with others. The sooner we become honest with ourselves, the more quickly we'll grow and move on to a new place. Become vulnerable, at least with yourself. Be honest about what you think and how you feel. Write it, speak it, feel it, release it. Then you will know where to go, when to go. What you are to do next will emerge naturally, quietly, and clearly. Try being absolutely honest. Reveal your most private feelings to yourself. It's a new kind of power, a different kind of power. It is a spiritual power, the power of opening the heart. That one is especially important for the throat chakra. Having honesty to speak not only to others, but most importantly to ourselves. Yogis, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Begin to bend into the right knee. Gently plant the right sole of the foot onto the earth. Reach up with the hands, remove the strap off of the left knee, let the left foot land down next to the right. Again, you have the option to straighten one or both legs out. Perhaps you'd like to find some gentle windshield wipes, left and right. Beautiful, and then eventually let your knees fall off to the side. Use your hands to help press yourself up. We'll talk about our final shape before Shavasana. So you can actually keep the strap on you if you want. We'll have the choice to use the strap or scarf for this last one as well. It's actually going to be around your thighs, but you'll be able to scooch it down. So we are going to find legs up the wall. So if you have a wall handy, that's awesome. If you don't have a wall handy, in airports I use railings. If you've got the back of a chair, a cabinet, whatever you have. If you do not have anything, that is okay too. You can bring a bolster underneath the hips for support for legs up the wall. But if you do have a wall, I'm going to go back over to my handy dandy wall and show you where we're going. So you probably know this one, and again, bring the strap down. So the easiest way to get into the wall is to bring your right or left side right up next to it. So hopefully you can see me. I know I'm a little dark there. So bring yourself as close to the wall as you can. Maybe that strap around the thighs, maybe not. We're going to want it to be about hips width distance, so you can tighten it up now if you want. And then lower yourself down. And then you're just going to kick the feet up and then kind of shimmy yourself around so your legs are now up the wall. So the strap is around my thighs, and the reason I want that is just so that I don't have to even think at all. So that strap is just going to hold my legs where they are. So you can make it as tight as you want. If you don't like the strap, you can lose it. You don't need it. Arms can be down by the side, out to either side, taking up space. Maybe cactus arms. Find what serves you for legs up the wall. So legs up the wall is taking care of our 6th and 7th chakra. So we have our 3rd eye, the color being indigo, and our crown chakra, color being a deep, beautiful purple. So this is a restorative inversion. It also opens the hamstrings in the back. This one soothes the nervous system. This is probably one of my favorite restorative postures. This is a great one if you have trouble sleeping. It's a really nice one to take right before bed. If your bed is against a wall, you can take it in bed. Really nice to just come out of this and go right into sleep. So just release down into legs up the wall. Another reading from the Radiant Sutras. Experience the substance of the body and the world as made up of vibrating particles. And these particles made up of even finer energies, drifting more deeply. Feel into each pulse of energy as it condenses from infinity and dissolves back into it continuously. Noticing this, breathe easily with infinity dancing everywhere. Strong or soft, wild or serene, wherever breath flows, there is song. Hear its whisper touching behind the face, singing in the throat, dancing spirals in the sanctuary of your heart. In this practice of listening, a moment may come when you just want to lie down. This is a doorway. Surrender. Fall into the wide open embrace of life. You are the instrument breath is playing. All the meditations you have ever loved are vibrating in this luxurious hum, continuing even in sleep and dreams. This is your school, just you and infinity. The texture of the self is untamed freedom. Yogis, if you are very comfortable in legs up the wall, you can feel free to remain here a little bit longer. It's perfectly safe to stay in legs up the wall for longer periods of time. I will start to get ready to lead you through your final meditation, which will be, like I said, a yoga nidra. It's going to be a chakra meditation this evening. If you would like to transfer to your final shavasana, just slowly bring yourself down off the wall so you can bend into the knees and kind of roll onto your side. Take a moment here, no rush. I'll give you time to get back to your mat, to set yourself up if you'd like in a final shavasana. So if you're staying in legs up the wall, feel free to stay there. If you're coming into your final shavasana, you might find a little bit of support behind the back of the knees. That can be supportive for the lower back, so maybe a bolster behind the back of the knees, or even a rolled up blanket or blocks underneath the backs of the thighs. Maybe you'd like to take a blanket to cover the body or place some socks on the feet if you're a little bit cold. As you start to settle in, again, just leading you through kind of a final meditation. And if this isn't something that you're into, you can always just turn up the music and mute me if you don't want to hear it. Otherwise, I'll just be kind of leading you through your chakras and a little bit of visualization. We'll use some colors. I'll give you some information. So your chakras along the base of the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head and even above. We talk about 7 main ones, but there are many more. And your chakras can be in balance, or they could be perhaps spinning too slow or too quickly, too opened or too closed. We're going to work on balancing them, and that's what we've been doing all night. So this final meditation is just going to kind of bring that all together. So once you settle into where you're going to be, close down the eyes. We're going to take a nice, just clearing breath together first. Inhale in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. On your next inhale, I want you to imagine a beautiful red light coming in through the nose, coming down through the lungs, spreading throughout the entire body. Eventually taking that red light to the base of the spine. Perhaps imagining a spinning wheel of red light or a sphere in perfect balance. This is the root chakra. The element for the root chakra is earth, called Muladhara, the base of the spine. This is where our safety, security, and survival lie. Hindu god associated with the root chakra is Ganesha. On your next breath in, I want you to imagine a beautiful orange light coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, eventually coming around the entire body, coming to spin around in the pelvis, right below the belly button. Imagining that orange sphere of light, perhaps even a little bit of a liquid quality or water to it, in perfect balance. This is Svadhisthana, or the sacral chakra. So the element here is water. This region is where our emotions, our creativity lie, also our pleasure center. The affirmation for the sacral chakra is I feel. And the goddess associated with Svadhisthana is Parvati. On your next breath in, imagining a beautiful yellow light coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, the entire body. Eventually that yellow light coming to spin around the center of the belly. This is the solar plexus chakra, or Manipura. This is where our confidence lies, the fire in our bellies. The affirmation for Manipura is I can. The Hindu goddess associated with the solar plexus chakra is Kali. Your next breath in, imagine a beautiful green light coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, the entire body. Eventually taking that green light to spin around the center of the chest. This is the heart chakra, or Anahata. The element here is air. This is where our love, acceptance, the ability to forgive not only others, but also ourselves lies. The affirmation for the heart chakra is I love. And the Hindu god associated with Anahata is Krishna. On your next breath in, imagine a beautiful sky blue color coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, the entire body. Eventually taking that beautiful sky blue color to spin around the center of the throat. This is Vishuddha, or the throat chakra. So the element here is ether. This is where our communication lies, our ability to speak the truth, not only to others, but also to ourselves. The affirmation for the throat chakra is I speak. And the Hindu goddess associated with Vishuddha is Saraswati. On your next breath in, I want you to imagine a beautiful dark blue indigo color coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, the entire body, eventually taking that indigo color right in between the eyebrows. This is the third eye chakra, or ajna. Element here, ether as well. This is where our intuition lies, our perception. The affirmation is I see. The Hindu god associated with the third eye chakra is Shiva. On your next breath in, imagine a beautiful dark purple color coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the lungs, the entire body, eventually taking that purple light up to the crown of the head. This is the crown chakra, or Sahasrara. The element here, ether. The affirmation for the crown chakra is I know. Here lies the connection to the higher self, the wisdom, and our connection to the universe. And on your final breath in, I want you to imagine a beautiful white, sparkly light coming in through the nose, spreading throughout the entire body. Eventually take that white light and shoot it right out of the top of your head, about 6 inches above, to your soul star. Imagine then that that white, sparkly light rains back down over your entire body, encasing you in a force field of light and protection. I want you to imagine that you could live here, keeping everything negative out, keeping everything positive in. This is your force field, your energy field, that you can keep with you at all times. Yogis, you can feel free to stay in your final Shavasana as long as you would like. Stay in your force field of light and beautiful energy. Perhaps you found that yogic sleep or yoga nidra the ultimate in stress release. I would say the hardest thing about restorative yoga is to get up and leave afterwards. The nice thing is you're already in your home, so hopefully you don't have to drive anywhere. You can just simply rest after your practice. If you would like to close out your practice, you can begin to bring small movements to the fingers and the toes, just starting to reawaken the body. Eventually, if you'd like, you could turn this into a full body stretch, reaching the arms up over the top of the head. As you're ready, rolling onto your left or right side. Again, spend a little bit of time in fetal position, just allowing everything to settle, to reset. And eventually, as you'd like, you could press yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll find Anjali Mudra together, so bringing the palms together, thumbs at heart center. Maybe just taking a breath here, closing the eyes. Feeling the effects of your restorative practice. Hopefully you found a bit of rest, a bit of stress relief, a bit of feel-good opening in the joints and the body. Perhaps just taking a little bit of time for yourself, so important to minimize the stress in our lives, good for our immune systems and good for our brains in general. Yogis, thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in each and every single one of you. Namaste.